First of all, congratulations. This series is amazing. I was a great fan of the comic books.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so I read it all, and I see you make something totally new for the series, and yet with the same spirit, and this is amazing. You gave for the fans a new show to see, so it's amazing to see it in this way. We have to see new characters and new way to show themselves. I love Homelander. He's the evil guy that you enjoy liking, you know, like a new version of Darth Vader. So it's a way you see evil and you feel bad to like it, but you keep liking it. So
love to hate.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the series. Let's start with the questions. Well, in this season, we see Billy and Huey almost becoming monster with the Compound V. And also we see battle of Kamiko to avoid being a monster and become more human. So what do you know from Eric, how was to plan this arc of stories for these characters?
Well, first I have to say your outfit.
Yeah.
I gotta give credit. Like your outfit's amazing. I mean, look, when I wear panties, it's usually something pretty exciting, but nothing like this.
This is good.
This is amazing.
This is really good.
A lot of time without sleep.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well done. Yeah, I mean, we, you know, when we're mapping it out in the writer's room, we like to have the stories sing to each other. And by that I mean, you know, they overlap in their themes, and so much of the season was about power. And what does it do to you? And, you know, and for these guys, you know, power doesn't necessarily corrupt, but it sort of reveals the thing that you already are. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it really increases Butcher's rage, and it really increases for Huey, you know, I think he's just so hungry to feel macho that it like pulls it out of him. And then for Kamiko, we talked about, you know, one, yes, she loses her power, but part of it for her was because she never got to choose it. And she ends up becoming a better and more powerful Soup by the end because it's her choice.
Yes.
And she gets to define herself on her own terms. You know, a character who for a really long time other people have been defining her for her, you know, and this season she really comes into her own as a character, and part of that is making the choice about whether or not she wants powers.
Yeah, but that was a great contest.
Yeah, thanks.
We have a great surprise in this season that Homelander's father is Soldier Boy.
Correct.
So I would like to ask you, how was your reaction to the script, and how was the film interact between your characters knowing this huge secret from the start?
I mean, when I first read it, it was, you know, it was shocking to me as a fan of the show and as a fan of the story and everything. I didn't see it going there, and Kripke was pretty good about keeping that close to the vest. I don't know if you knew prior.
He did tell me pretty early on, but it was, I mean, it just had to come up in conversation for some other things that we were setting up, and because thematically there was, you know, stuff about me dealing with Ryan and
sure,
you know, there was a lot of different things that you needed that, and we needed to be targeting that moment because it was such a big moment for my dude.
But when you see the shoe drop with that knowledge, then really the next time that we see each other is in episode. Well, it's episode 8, but it's really that one scene.
It was definitely, like, for both these characters, it's a huge moment, you know, it's a huge moment for my guy, like.
It would have been nice to have like a couple of episodes to like play with that. We only got one.
I don't know if Soldier Boy does know that in this year, but Homelander is not a good boy. So what kind of lesson you can teach your son?
He's not a very good boy either.
Yeah, but I don't know that.
Well, he's kind of lost in the 80s, so he has an excuse.
Yes, that's true. You know, I think that Soldier Boy was always wanting to kind of right the wrong that was done to him with his father and be able to, you know, he expresses, he's like, I've always wanted a kids of my own, and to be able to raise them up and do it in a way that was different than how his father did it. Teach him what Soldier Boy thought was right and wrong.
Right.
Give him, you know, you missed a spot, and you should put some cream on that. Like all of the little things, I think that a father should.
Wait, what?
Well, you know. So I think that now that this has this opportunity has revealed itself, now it's a question of, is he going to do that?
Right.
Is this the opportunity he's been wanting all his life? And can that happen? And it kind of tees up a big problem for Butcher, because now now his ace in the hole is essentially doubting whether or not he even wants to go through with the plan.
And for you guys, how was to play your character in such a different context, you know, like from powerless to superpower?
I felt like that was a fun opportunity to evolve, but beyond bribery and to be able to actually take the conflict to actually a real physical level, and then to also together work out and define what those superpowers were. That's one of the great things about the writing in the show. These characters aren't just spinning their wheels; they're constantly sort of evolving and giving us as actors new things to play.
I remember in one of the earlier seasons, I think it was season 2. I remember Carl being in a scene with you, and we were like, "There's too much blackmail. We got to get in there. We got to get them out. We got to face them head on." And this season, we actually got to do that, and that was so exciting. Eric already went into how the powers kind of play into the emotional aspects of the characters, but just speaking as a pure superhero fan, I'm so excited I got powers. Like, I've always wanted to be a superhero in something, or to have superpowers in something. Nightcrawler from the X-Men is one of my all-time favorite superheroes of all time. So the fact that I got to teleport was great. I also think it's a great power for Huey, because he's a character that often finds himself in situations that he doesn't want to be in. So the fact that he can easily blip out and blip back in was really fun. And the whole nudity aspect to it, at first I was like, okay, here we go. but then it was it made sense. It was such a great version of that power for our show, because we always try to think about or the writers try to think about, what would this power actually look like in the real world? And it's your biological matter going from one part of the room to the other, so your clothes and all the stuff on you, it's not going to come with you. I just thought it was hilarious, especially for Huey, for him to finally have this power and to be so embarrassing on the other side. I loved all of it. So
not only teleport, super strength also.
Yeah,
because you're able to hit a train.
Through a guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of your powers, I must ask you, Jack. I must ask you, what's best for you? Be naked or all covered in blood all the time? Because
I've given this a lot of thought, actually. No, I'm serious. I really
all the time, are you naked or are you covered in blood?
I'm actually gonna go with naked. That's better for me, because the blood, it's fine if the fake blood is basically just all sticky, cornstarch.
It's like corn syrup.
Yeah, corn syrup and red dye number 5, and it's fine if you get a splash of it and then it time cuts to another scene, or when it comes back to me, I'm all cleaned up. But season 2, the whale sequence, we all get covered in blood, and then you follow us in those tunnels. So what that means for us actors is, for weeks we come in, and the first thing we do is the makeup artist meticulously apply the blood back on. For the whole day you can't touch anything, you stick to everything, your hair becomes a solid helmet. So yeah, I'm gonna go with nudity.
Oh, that's a great choice. Yeah. Talking about family, in this season we saw Victoria Newman betraying her figure father and to protect her own child. How was it for you to develop one of the most mysterious and ambiguous characters in The Boys?
Super easy, because I didn't know what was going to happen. I remember when I came on season 2, all I knew about Newman was that she was this congresswoman and that she was hell-bent on taking down Vought, and everyone was really excited about this character. And I didn't know why. They were like, they were so excited about Newman, we're so excited about Newman. And I was like, she's in a rally this episode, but that's really exciting, And so then when the twist happened, it was very easy to play, because I had no idea it was coming.
I shit my pants.
Just now?
It was, yeah.
Yes. And
a bad answer.
Yeah.
No, it was, it's but this season we kind of got more information. We did ahead of time, so it was nice to have that preparation, because she makes some pretty intense sacrifices. Yeah. And Nathan shit his pants, so.
That make worse something.
Yeah.
Butch and Huey have been partners since the beginning of The Boys, and in this season they team up with Soldier Boy. Mm-hmm. So how was for you guys to turn a duo in a trio with Jensen?
It was great. Jensen came in, and on a show that was already packed with superheroes, managed to carve out some, fresh, unique territory. And he came in with his A game and really felt like he lifted everybody's game, and he immediately fit in. And we were very, very blessed to have him. And just for the characters to work with that dynamic, to be forced to work with something that you despise so much but you need, I thought was really smart writing.
Necessary evil, right?
Yeah. Jensen slotted right in there. It felt like he had been part of the show the whole time. He brought such an amazing energy every day to set, and Yeah, I mean, my favorite things to shoot this season was the stuff with you and with Butcher and Soldier Boy. I think my favorite scene ultimately was the priest and nun scene with me and Soldier Boy. I don't know, just those two characters having that back and forth while this high stakes thing is happening. It just, I don't know, it's so gruesome, but it made me very
I must say that the dialogues between you three are amazing, and the consequence of everything around it's amazing how it works. So each character in each way to speak is very good. See this. Yeah. Well, in season 3 we have the anticipated herogasm. You know how trouble it was for everyone and for the fans. But the great moment of the episode almost have nothing to do with sex.
Yeah.
The combat is amazing. Were you afraid that the audience would be cheated to not having something shocking as the termite of episode 1?
No, I mean, I knew it was, once you do that termite scene, it's a mistake to try to top that or try to do anything bigger. I mean, it's just, you let the story evolve where the story is going to evolve. What Herogasm was really useful for, I mean, people tune in because they think it's going to be shocking, and there are certainly shocking moments and some graphic stuff. But really, like, what we really needed was an event that could bring all of these characters crashing into each other. So it had to be a big enough and important enough event that could bring literally almost all our leads into one place. So Annie and Huey, Huey and A-Train, Butcher and Homelander, Butcher and Soldier Boy. So it's like the orgy part of it was sort of like a misdirect. It was like what it was really about was all of this like incredible climactic drama happening.
I love that it's just one big gotcha. It's like, haha, you care. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Well, Nathan, we are playing a different character from the comics. In the comics, Black Noir is totally different in history and stuff like that, and the clone of Homelander. And now we see a new character present himself and fought with Soldier Boy and have consequence from the battle. And when I have the opportunity to see this come back, this fight again, this way to, be the Black Noir we know from the comics against Soldier Boy?
Yeah, I think, this season, for Noir, it's about facing his past, and it's like this whole plot is percolating this entire time, and we don't know, or Soldier Boy doesn't know, like why, like how he ended up in this position, and that's part of his, his mission to find out what happened and who did it, and to get justice and revenge for himself. And for Noir, it's scary. You have this bully who made his life a living hell, who he got back, but he knew, he'd come back around, at some point in time. And it's about facing his past and finding the courage to stand up and fight. And I think by the end of episode 7, we see that he's willing to actually take on this fight, And I think episode 8 for Noir, we're gonna see him, like as we got to at the end of the episode, choose to be courageous, and he's willing to face down his demons.
Great. A few days ago, Eric, you celebrated a lot of fans start to interact with the boys in social media, as they was living in the universe of the boys. What was it like for you to have such a passionate fan base?
Here, you start.
No, I mean, it's just incredible. I mean, I love the fact that the audience is in on the joke of the show, which is like, like you guys said, like they kind of pretend like they're in the universe of the show, or whenever they see a poster of like A-Train or Homelander, like they know that person deep down is a terrible person. But I love that our marketing is like showing them as if they exist in our world. And it's just, I don't know. I grew up watching the original Star Wars movies, and I'm such a huge Star Wars fan. And the fact that I'm part of something and was on the ground floor of something that kind of, is accruing a really big fan base, I could not be more grateful. I just can't thank the fans enough. Like, they've all been so incredible. And this show is really crude. Everyone's swearing. There's orgies. There's people exploding. There's a lot of like real rough stuff. But all the fans are so incredibly kind and nice. Like, that's been amazing too.
Yeah, no, I love how the universe is growing. Like, that's so fun to me. Of, like Jack said, how the fans are basically like spontaneously role playing as if they're living in that universe. But then also like the commercials and the news reports and the ads and like everything that really is making it feel like a world that they want to play in. has been amazing, and it has this very particular satirical sense of humor that is the stuff I find funniest. So to be able to, after spending like close to 20 years doing network TV, where I was pretty constrained with what I could do, to be able to like really hang it out there and to have the world react the way they're reacting has been very gratifying.
Yeah, I'm really kind of humbled and blown away by the response. It's really lovely to be a part of something that actually finds an audience. I've been a part of stuff that does not connect.
That doesn't.
As an advisor.
Yeah, no, me too.
It's really not fun, but I guess the thing that I love about it most is them. To sort of really in line with what Eric was saying was the fans literally taking ownership over the property in a way, and it's they feel like it's theirs, and I love that, like in the fan art that people draw and stuff.
Remarkable.
Every Halloween people are dressing up like us too.
I just love it. They're it's just we feel blessed.
Fans make the show.
Yeah.
In every regard.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like cosplay. When you go to conventions and there's cosplayers and they like engaging in that way, they dress up. Without fans, we don't have a show.
Yeah.
This isn't made for us. It's not made for us to go, oh, jolly good show.
You did great.
You were great. We have a private screening and that's it. This is a show made by Amazon Prime to get an audience, to entertain. It's built for the fans, and that's why we're here. That's why we're in Brazil.
Brazil, we're the boys, and we're here at Batman Alley.
Because Brazil's the second biggest fan base. The Brazilians are hardcore fans about whatever they choose to take to their heart, and
Truly.
We're glad to be here, and we share the love. We reciprocate the love.
Although I think Herogasm, Crippy made that for him. I think
that was Crippy's.
That was a love letter to himself.
Yeah,
it was.
He
was just made. He was like, I'm going to do this. It's for me, and I'm just all the soups. Just put him down at Fucktown, USA, and let him go nuts. That was for him.
This season is over, and I think you can freely talk freely about what was your special moment in the series.
Favorite?
Yes, for the season 3.
It was probably just a very quiet little scene that is in 307, and it's post Mindstorm and Butcher's dealing with the pain and guilt of Lenny, and it's sort of emotionally affecting him, and then you sort of connect with that. And then he sort of gets a call from Annie and has to quickly, just play against it and bury it all, and then has to, convince Huey or lead Huey down a pretty bad path by even he knows that the Temp V is going to kill him. And it's just so much going on there that was a sort of a fun, sort of complex set of emotions.
You're so good in that scene, by the way. Like, there's so many different colors happening, one after the other.
You give so much.
I think the moment where it clicked for me, like, oh yeah, I'm back on the show, was the scene early on where I asked Kimiko to break my arm. Just doing that on the day and having this prosthetic arm that was an actual replica of my actual arm. Yeah, I had to go and have a molding made of it, and I hate to give away their tricks, but it's really fun. I put it on, you put it on my shoulder, and then I hid my real arm behind my back while the fake one was on the chair handle, and just to see what looked exactly like my real arm get broken and then reset and broken. It was the most surreal experience ever. I think that really clicked for me. Like, oh, okay, I'm back on the boys. Yeah, we're here again.
I would like to know from Jensen and Nathan, what's more challenging, learn to fight or interact with animated characters?
Fighting, I truly enjoy that. I would say that's easier. Working and relating to things that aren't there usually takes some practice and is a little bit more difficult, just with, and we've all had to do it with his effects and reacting to something, and so he's got the jumping and not going anywhere and just walking off, and the laser and stuff, and when I'm like, nothing happens. So reacting to things that aren't there is probably a little more tricky, I'd say, just in the grand scheme of things, than the fighting stuff. Because the fighting is right there. It's hand to hand.
What can we expect for season 4?
Why did you look at me?
Don't teleport.
An incredible amount of full frontal nudity for Jack.
Nice. That's locked in.
Yeah, like his superpower is people just kicking him in his genitalia in loving slow motion.
Mine are Hugh's, because that's mine for sure.
People kicking you.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, and then you'll show up on set and then be Huey.
Yeah, great, yeah.
I definitely, well, I can say because I know it's the boys get to go to Hawaii.
And we fly out the entire Toronto crew.
Oh, they're not in the Toronto winter.
They're not in winter, particularly around the.
No more winter.
So none of
None of. And I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be nice to shoot.
Well, Hero Gardens is an island in the comics, so.
True.
It's so fun that we all get a superpower where we're constantly holding pina coladas.
Yeah. So none of that's going to happen. They're going to be in the
cheering
snow.
for you guys.
They're going to be in the snow in Toronto.
You know when he pitched the show to me, he's like, "Come to Toronto. It'll be 4 months in summer. It'll be great." Cut to season 3, and we're starting in winter, and there's like this much snow on the ground.
Well, guys, I must say that thank you so much for this. This interview was amazing.
Thank you for this.
This was amazing. This was.
Thank you so much.
Five stars.
Outfit I've ever.
Yeah.
That's the idea, break the ice, like,
So good.
break a lot. Well, guys, thank you so much for this. It was amazing interviewing you.
Thank you, and well done.
I'm a real fan. You can say that.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you again in season 4.